Alright guys, today's Warhammer Fantasy Battle report will actually not feature any Tomb Kings at all, because I showed up to the gaming club late today and didn't actually get to play a game at all. So I watched a couple of my friends play, and we've got Lizardmen versus Dark Elves here, and straight away let's take a look at the setup. On the Dark Elves, we've got the left-hand side. There's I'm just going from bottom to top. We've got Repeater Bolt Thrower down the corner, then we've got Repeater Crossbowmen with Dark Riders behind them, 2 units of Cold One Knights, the Witch Elves behind them, the Cauldron of Blood next, another unit of Dark Riders, big unit of Spearmen with a level 4 Supreme Sorceress on a horse, and another Repeater Bolt Thrower over the left-hand side. And there's also a group of Shades behind the main group, which hasn't been deployed yet. So let's go to the next photo. We sort of just take a look from the other side of the board, just sort of walking around, taking another photo here. You can see the Dark Elf deployment, a little bit more detail over the bottom. But the Lizardmen have got a unit of Skinks with a couple of Croxagores. This is going from left to right. We've got some Pterodon riders in the background. One of them is actually a hero on a Pterodon. There's some more Skinks. We've got a Carnosaur riding Saurus Lord, forget what it's called, Old Blood, Scar Blood, something like that, riding a Carnosaur. Got the unit of Cold One Riders, Saurus guys on Cold Ones, and there's a smaller Stegodon, then a very big beefy Stegodon with a Engine of the Gods on the top with the Skink Priest on it. And then far in the background we've got the Skinks with a Razordon, Skinks with a Salamander, and a few Skinks with a Croxagore right in the flank. So that's our Lizardman setup. Just a closer look here, you can see in a bit more detail what's going on here on the Lizardmen deployment. We've got the flying model, the Pterodon that's undercoated with black that hasn't been painted yet is the hero. And you can see the Carnosaur Lord just next to them with some Skinks in front, another Croxagore, 2 Croxagores in the unit closest to us, and the Stegodons in the background. Next photo, just a bit of a look at the Dark Elf deployment. Unfortunately, this is a bit of a hazy photo. Took the photo before focusing the camera well enough, but there's 2 units of 5 Cold One Riders with the Witch Elves behind them, so the Cold One Riders are getting set to just charge out the front. Now, the first turn goes to the Lizardmen. So here's me sitting on the side of the table just taking pictures as we go. So the Lizardmen move forward. We're looking at the Dark Elf right-hand side flank here, where the Shades have just deployed right next to the Bolt Thrower to protect it rather than out in the field like scouting. So we've got Skinks moving towards them with the Croxagore on the back. We've got the Razordon moving behind them just to save the Razordon's ass, and the Salamanders in the forest there. Meanwhile, everything's just pushing forward over in the flanks on the right-hand side. Next shot, you can see the Dark Elves just responding over here. What's happened is that the Dark Riders have fled back almost off the table, and I'm not really sure what happened there. I think they failed a panic check or something, being shot at by magic, Lizardmen magic and javelins or whatever it was, and that's unfortunate. The Dark Riders are headed all the way over there. Next photo, you can see the Shades just moving forward. We're now into Dark Elf turn 1. The Dark Elf's moving forward with the Shades. Interesting looking Shades there, just firing off at the Skinks, not really causing too much damage, but just harrying them nonetheless. Here's another photo which shows a better overview of the battlefield. In this situation, we've got the Dark Elves pushing forward with the Cold One Knights, and over the left-hand side, just moving the Spearmen just slightly over the side there. And just generally position themselves. We've got the Cauldron of Blood next to the forest, and a big unit of Cold One Knights right next to them. But this is the tactical view of what's going on in Dark Elves turn 1. It's going to be Lizardmen turn 2 next, and we're going to see what happens shortly. Going to the next photo, what's actually happening here is that the Carnosaur is moving ahead. The Engine of the Gods is moving all the way around here just to get a few units in range of the blasty Engine of the Gods ability that it's got. And the Pterodons are moving around the back. The Pterodons charged the Repeater Bolt Thrower crew, took them out, and they're just flying around, march blocking the Dark Elves in general. Skinks moving in front of the Spearman unit while the other group's in from behind, and the Lizardman guy, it's his turn right now, Lizardman turn 2, setting up the Cold One Knights on the hill over here. He hasn't put all the unit models there, but that's where they're going. Next photo gives you a better look of where they ended up. So all the Cold One Riders are on the hill there. This is a funny thing about Dark Elves versus Lizardmen, is that both armies have got access to Cold One Riders, so they have it. And the Carnosaur guy looking very scary out in front. So we'll see what happens to him soon. Next turn, Next photo, rather, I think this is Dark Elf Turn 2. You can see the assassin in the front of the Spearman unit, so I've taken a photo of him just throwing away his disguise, and he launches out with his little cape there and gets ready to charge the skinks all by himself. And that's he's using this Dark Elf player is using a High Elf model to represent a Supreme Sorceress as level 4 spellcaster there. So next photo, what happens is the Cold One Knight charge the Carnosaur guy wielding the Blade of Reality's brand new Lizardmen item with the new book. Every hit that it succeeds in getting, you have to take a leadership test, otherwise you just die outright, no matter what kind of magical special rules you have to save you. Unfortunately, the Carnosaur model's a bit hefty, and his T-Rex head sort of sticks out above the base, so this big black sheet that we've got underneath here represents where the Cold One Knights actually are, but he's placed the models behind that sheet just so that they aren't sort of being spread aside by that actual Carnosaur model. I'm sure you guys can understand what's going on there. So they charge. They all attack the Carnosaur. The Cauldron of Blood has given them an extra attack each. They stab the Carnosaur to death. Carnosaur dies. Very lucky for them, because the Carnosaur would have been frenzied if it attacked back and scored some wounds there, which would have been very nasty. So that removes the Old Blood Rider guy to foot. So just in the meantime, by the way, the Croxicors are charged, or the Croxicor unit is charged in the flank by the Shades, who attack. The Shades take a couple of wounds off the Croc, but the Croc swipes back and just knocks them all out. So crush. Bam. Now, by the way, also in the meantime, we're talking Dark Elf Turn 2. The Dark Riders just spread themselves on a line in front of the ancient, the big Stegodon with the Engine of the Gods, just to prevent it from charging over here. Nice bit of maneuvering. The Dark Elf Cold Riders, One Riders, have rallied at the back. They fled from, I think it was one of the big units in front, so that's why they've ended up at the back there. And the assassin has charged the skinks in the background. Cauldron of Blood in the woods over here, and that's how it's looking.